Welcome to Financial Focus, brought to you by Gulf Coast Financial Services founder and CEO, John Kuykendall. John and his team of financial, legal, and tax professionals have provided North Florida savers and investors sound, comprehensive financial guidance for over 25 years, helping you to achieve important life and planning goals. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more Financial Focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net.
And welcome into Financial Focus, brought to you by the founder and CEO of Gulf Coast Financial Services, John Kuykendall here. He is our resource for a common sense approach to planning for our financial, investment, retirement futures, what to do with our money. John, this time of year and reflecting on the crazy year that we've had, a lot of people do have doubts, worries, concerns, some anxiety level about their money. But the week ahead here is a week to sort of reflect and just be thankful for where we are and what we do have.
Well, 2020 has been an unusual year for us. As a nation, we've gone through a lot. We've had an election. We've had, of course, the COVID, which has been with us all year long and still is. And so it's different. I think a lot of people are scared because of we're finding out that life it goes on, and we're not as indispensable as we thought we were, and so it's caused a lot of people, Peter, to retire, or think about retirement, or working into getting something going for retirement. But at this time of the year, it's really one where we need to be thankful. And think about how far we've come and where we are, and be thankful for what God's given us this year.
Yeah, indeed. And I think we'll all have hopefully some time to reflect on that, to express that thankfulness and that gratitude in the week to come. John, any fond memories or family traditions around your household as we really get into the thick of the holiday season?
Well, as the kids have gotten older and the grandkids have gotten older, Thanksgiving's not much of one for us to get together as we used to. I can remember it wasn't all that long ago when my boys were younger that my father, I was living in South Florida, my father was here in Lake City, and we would drive up and all the family would get together, my sisters and their families, and we would just share Thanksgiving dinner and eat outside. It was a wonderful experience that I still remember and think about fondly. But, I think it's just a time when we really, truly need to be thankful and think about how much we have and not how much we want or how much we think we need. Yeah. Everybody in the United States has much more than any other country and much more than anybody else. And we should certainly be thankful. I know that a small boy from a small town, I never thought that I would be where I am or have what I have. And I owe it all truly to God and to this wonderful country that we live in.
Yeah, regardless of where we see imperfections or areas for improvement, I think we are all still blessed to be here living in this great country and to be able to participate in the change and the progress that we see needs to be made in the world. That is kind of a unique element of our society, is that we've got the ability and we've got the upward mobility that a small boy from a small town or another different small boy from a small town myself, have been able to make something and move upward and establish themselves. Mm-hmm. So yeah, thankful for that. And I think that a lot of people, again, still do see kind of reason to worry, as we move in and continue with this pandemic that we've battled all year long, and realizing that politicians don't have the answers to an invisible disease, how to fight it or what it's going to do. They're never going to have those kind of solutions. And even if, miracle of science, we snap our fingers and there's a vaccine tomorrow, I don't know, John, you've probably seen prescription medication commercials. They've got the laundry list of side effects that they a lot of times they list those and they seem just as bad, if not worse than the affliction itself. I don't know how many people are rushing out day one to voluntarily get that vaccine. And so, I feel like this is something that we're going to be talking about. It's going to be with us for quite some time. That's not money related, but as a financial advisor, as you've so often talked about on this program, the most important thing is not money. Money is simply a tool to support what's important to us. But during times of crisis and worry and volatility, we've got to make smart decisions with our money to be able to continue to support what is truly important to us.
That's right, Peter. And now more than ever, we need to have a plan in place to make sure that we're reacting to the plan and not just to the environment around us and what's happening. And so many times I know people get scared and they react. And I think back to the people who reacted in February and March when the market went down and had to get into cash. And now they've been out of the market all year long, and the market had a tremendous run. And we've actually made a lot of money. I've made a lot of money this year. And so it's a situation where we have to react and do things according to a plan, well thought out, and not just a knee-jerk reaction. And so many times people react without thinking. But I really like it. I had a client today call me, and he said, "Hey, I inherited $30,000. What do you want me to do with it?" And it was one of those situations where I said, "Well, what are you thinking about doing?" He says, "Well, I've got some debt, thinking about paying it off."
Yeah.
But we just found out that he got downsized out of a job. His hospital actually closed here in Lake City. And so he has some interviews. He thinks he's going to be able to get a job. So my advice to him was, well, let's hold on to the money until we know that we don't need it. And then once you get the job and get the job offer, then we'll pay off the debt. So I like
some stability there first.
Yeah. Well, as I always say, the bank doesn't want to loan you money when you need it.
Right.
They want to loan you money when you don't need it. And so I like it when they call me and say, what do you think and how can I do this? And so that's rare sometimes, but there's an example of somebody kind of think it out ahead of time and not just make a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously a good situation there to come into some sizable assets. And don't know the circumstances of how that inheritance happened, but we hate to lose loved ones, obviously. And I think that your approach to that was very common sense. Okay, well, what do you need to do with it? Okay, what's your situation? How can we make sure that your priorities are reflected with the decisions that you're making with that money? And
right.
A side note there, ironic that during a time of a pandemic, hospitals are closing or laying anyone off. That's kind of a whole different subject altogether. But John, do you think that, and you sent along kind of a laundry list of a few different articles that you thought we could maybe talk about and reflect on today.
Sure.
I'm going to ask it in the form of a question. It's sort of the gist of one of the main articles. Do you find that planning during this pandemic time has been more stressful for individuals because of things like that, shifts in actual life circumstances?
Well, I think, yes. I think that certainly, jobs have been downsized. People have had to take some time off. I just read the other day where in Alachua County, the clerk of the court there or the tax collector, one of the offices, every other week the people have to take time off without pay because there's not enough money in their budget to pay everybody. So we're seeing that more and more where we're looking at unusual circumstances. 401ks aren't being matched or whatever. And so people are reacting more and wanting more, actually, I believe, to have a plan, to have something in front of them that they can follow and just really use as a roadmap, as I call it, so that they can weather this out. But certainly this is a very stressful time, has been a very stressful time for a lot of people. And, I really feel sorry, Peter. I just feel so sorry for the business people that have suffered more than we have. We've been lucky as financial advisors, but take the guy that owns the movie theater. I mean, that guy's really suffered. The restaurants that had to shut down. There's been a lot of people that have been hurt by this year. And truthfully, as we head into 2021, there may be even more hurt because I'm really anticipating having a raise in taxes to have to pay for all the stuff that we lost in 2020.
Yeah, I had a family that was on my son's baseball team, and right before all of this, they actually bought two businesses: an indoor
Mm.
batting cage and a day spa. And
Oh,
yeah, both of those have been completely shut down for 8, 9 months now. It's been tough for a lot of people. I like how you addressed it again, going back to your gentleman there that inherited the lump
mhm.
sum, the $30,000. You broke that down into very common sense steps. And so to address panic or anxiety and angst, is that the approach we need to take? Just break things down into kind of our base core needs and common sense steps to address them?
Well, sure. I mean, I think that what we need to do is we still have, like I said, more than anybody else. We just may not be there, get there as fast as we wanted to, or we may not have as much as we thought we'd have at this point in time, but we still have more than a lot of other people. And so what we need to do is address that income plan and put into it an approach so that we can get to retirement and have the lifestyle we want. So we may have to sacrifice the new car this year, but we can get the new car next year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody needs to take a common approach. One thing we need to do is keep debt down, certainly during this period of time, and make sure that our housing expenses aren't more than 30% of our income.
Well, you sent another article here, Why Planning Beats Predictions. And this is from Financial Advisor magazine. But your comment on this one, you said, when we talk about this on the show, why most people's plan, air quotes, for those just listening on the podcast, is still based on predictions. And I think that COVID and the quarantine and pandemic, the pinnacle example of this, that was not included in most people's plans nor predictions. And that's where you really know whether you've got a plan or simply predictions.
Yeah, predictions are that. They're predictions. They may come true or they may not come true. Plans we can look at, we can put into certain criteria, we can be very conservative in the plans, and we can do some things with the plan so that we can make sure that we have that predictable, sustainable lifetime income in retirement. We don't know. I've got a couple right now that's facing cancer, and we don't know when that's going to happen. We don't know when the kids are going to move home, because they lost their job or there's a divorce or whatever. And so we're going to have extra expenses, but we need to follow that plan, work up a good income plan that is, sustainable and able to achieve. But we can't rely on predictions. We never know. I don't know where the market's going. I mean, I can't predict to you what we're going to do in 2021 or where we're even going to end up this year.
Right.
But I can be sure that it's either going to go up or down. And so what I do is work my plan around a common sense approach, making sure that no matter what happens, I'm covered. Predictions, you can't do that.
Well, one good piece of news for retirees or those nearing retirement, one thing that we know is going up, Social Security getting that cost of living adjustment. On the other side of that, most of us can't survive off of just Social Security alone. And John, another article you sent talks about those predictions that are included in most people's plans, basing the amount of cash flow we can generate on that old 4% rule. And this resource was from the Alliance for Lifetime Income. And it said that 4% rule leaves an unacceptable risk for most retirees. It did conclude and kind of give us the silver lining on that cloud, was that more households, more families are now guaranteeing some income on their own from their own assets.
Well, that's right, Peter. And that's what we need to think about, is how we can get that sustainable, predictable, going to be there every month income ourselves, because, our generation has to make up for that pension that we didn't have. We're in a 401k environment. Very few of the people that I have are retiring have pensions. The lucky ones have plenty of money, and their plan is easy to work on. And so what we have to do is make that up. And we're able to do that now with these fixed indexed annuities that give us the upside in the market, but don't give us the downside, and give us a lifetime income and some long-term care protection also. And that's a way that we can build that around it. The 4% rule, it works great if the market's going up. If the market's going down and I've got this, up and down, 20% up, 10% down, and vice versa, and when I'm taking it out, if I'm taking it out in a down market, that we've proven that doesn't work.
Right.
And that's not gonna sustain. That's building our income plan on sand, as I like to say.
On those predictions that often don't come true. And John, that's a part of the process in your office, is helping people identify where a plan, again, air quotes here for those just listening, where that plan includes reliance on assumptions. And we've talked about that many times throughout the course of the program. A lot of people have predictions or assumptions or hypotheticals that are not dependable and reliable included in their plan. And that's why a lot of people have the seed of doubt and worry and concern when something unforeseen does occur.
Well, I mean, the thing is, Peter, is that when we're looking strictly at our assets and our asset allocation model to give us a lifetime income, every time the market's up or every time the market's down, you're either real high or you're real low because you're worried about it constantly. And so how do you enjoy yourself during retirement if all you're doing is spending your time watching your funds? I mean, we have to be able to build some kind of bridge over the water, which is our retirement. As the retirement flows under, we have to build a bridge. Now, you're talking about that Social Security increase. I want to thank you for the $20 average that we're getting next year, which I'm not sure will keep up with inflation. Also, we don't know yet what the Medicare Part B is going to be as far as the numbers. Supposedly, every time we get an increase, the Medicare Part B goes up. So, no, we can't rely on Social Security to make up our retirement income. It's not going to work.
Well, I will say, though, 1.3% over there, if I took that money and put it in the bank, I'm getting what, 0.013% maybe? So, at least it's some amount of increase, although you're likely right, probably offset in a great deal by increases to some additional expenses. But that's why another article, this one from Forbes that you sent along, talked about planning for retirement. Don't overlook these 8 critical expenses. Several of them dealt with healthcare expenses, long-term care expenses. Several of them dealt with taxes, deferred taxes, higher tax rates potentially into the future. Home renovations, another one. Caring for family members, another healthcare related to some capacity. And John, that one's maybe one to consider and talk about around the holiday table in the week to come, making sure that people have planned for this or that we understand where holes or lack of planning may exist within the family.
Well, that's true. And with that long-term care or that healthcare situation, we need to make sure that we're covered for that long-term. We also need to sit down and talk about estate planning. The majority of the United States does not have an estate plan. I was just thinking this morning as I found out that one of my clients has cancer, that I'm not sure that while we have beneficiaries set up, that it's the estate plan that they really need if something happens to both of them. And so we need to go back and look at that. I just had a client whose husband passed away, and luckily everything was in place. It just passed to her directly. She's already gone down to the attorneys, worked up another set of wills so that she can pass it on to the kids. That's rare and an exception. But we need to make sure that we're talking about this year. And, one of the things that was on that list, which I never had thought about was, if you're thinking about retiring, go ahead and relocate to your place you want to live now before you retire so you can get those expenses out of the way. So if you're lucky enough to transfer in your job,
well, and these days, John, all of us working from home or virtually, does it matter where you are actually physically located? And in many cases, it does not. One of the benefits maybe to all of this is realizing that we've got the capacity to work from really wherever we want and wherever we're at.
Well, I think that this pandemic we've been in has changed America forever. One is that we have found out that technology and Zoom and all those things they work. We can talk to people. We can look at each other and get a meaningful conversation. We don't eat out as much. We're staying at home more. You were talking about remodeling. During the pandemic that we had in 2020, the cost of lumber in the beginning was $140, $143 per linear foot. It's gone to $950 because of all the wood we used during our quarantine.
My transportation budget has gone way, way down, not buying nearly as much gas, but my grocery bill and those home renovation projects, John, more than made up for that part of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, our lifestyles have changed. People say, I'd like to get back to normal. There is the new norm. We're never going to get back like it was. We've opened up too many doors. And like you said, you can work from anywhere. It's easy now to work from home or work in a remote facility.
Well, number 8 on the list was longevity. And while I know this was more from a, protecting against a long lifetime, protecting the income kind of perspective, anybody who has longevity is going to see many, many, many new normals over the course of their lifetime. And while, I think that there were some overused terms during all of this, and that may be one of them is, there's probably a list of we're here with you and those kind of things. And in these unprecedented times, those kind of sayings that were a little overused. New normal is real. It is absolutely something that not only has to do with this pandemic specifically, but I think that the evolution, I often think back to my grandpa, and if he was able to see how he taught me how to read a map. We would drive from North Carolina to Ohio to go visit them. He taught me how to map that out. And I think if he could see GPS these days, how, the blue line will get you there. If he could see how we could talk to each other face to face and FaceTime or Zoom or any of these, just be amazed. And that is a new normal that we've welcomed and become accustomed to. This one, like any crisis, has pushed and advanced some of those new technologies and new capabilities as well. Not all a bad thing. But again, John, for the sake of your article that you sent along, I think when it was mentioning longevity and you wanted to talk about it, that was more of the let's plan around it and let's have a plan for protection for the expenses we'll incur with longevity.
Oh yeah. When we're doing our plan, we're planning for at least 90 years of age. I don't care whether you're in good health or bad health. We just plan that way because people are living longer. Healthcare is better. One part of this new pandemic is telehealth. Telehealth is really picked up where you can call the doctor and talk to him face to face like we're doing, and he can diagnose you and help you without having to go into the office. So we're seeing a lot of different stuff, but longevity, as Tom Hegna says, is the killer of all, is the multiplier of all the risk, inflation, taxes, et cetera. Longevity is a multiplier that will kill any plan, because if you say, well, I'm only going to live to 75 or 80, and you live to 100, you don't want to run out of money.
Well, another article finally kind of rounding home here for those that feel like they'll never be able to retire or are concerned with the progress slowing in a year or even sometimes taking a couple steps back. Nothing can help you remedy this better than mapping out your plan with a qualified, experienced professional. And John, that's, we've talked about some feel good, some feel bad, some worries and concerns on today's program, as we often do, kind of covering the gamut. But at the end of the day, where the rubber meets the road, you are there to provide assistance in the planning process and have been doing so for many, many years, and look forward to helping others.
Yeah, that's right, Peter. That's why we're here. I mean, if we can't help somebody else, then there's no reason for us to be here. And we really love it. We really like to do it. And income plans are something that I believe we need. We haven't used as much as we should. Everybody should have one. And it's something that we need to get going with. But, as we reach this time of year and we're getting ready to close out the show, don't forget to be thankful for all that we've had, all we get in ourselves, and be thankful for where you are. Sometimes I think we're pessimistic and we look at all the bad side, but we don't think about all the good side. We really need to be thankful this Thanksgiving It's been an unbelievable year, and certainly the football season has seen that. But I never thought I would hear crowd noise and nobody would be in the stands.
Yeah.
But the NFL has shown us that. But we do need to be thankful that we still have football, that we still have the places we can go, we still have our help, and we're free to do what we want to do within the legal limit.
The resources that you provide there at Gulf Coast Financial Services, I know many savers and investors throughout the area, Lake City to Gainesville, North Central Florida, are thankful to have you and your team there as resources. And ladies and gentlemen, they are looking to help as many as they can there and assist in putting that plan together, monitoring that plan, implementing that plan, executing that plan, whether you don't have a plan and want to get one, or whether it's been a while since you checked up on your current plan. Gulf Coast Financial Services, your resource. Pick up the phone, give John Kuykendall and his team a call, 386-755-9018. That's 386-755-9018. You can go online, gulfcoastfinancial.net. Lots of excellent resources, blogs, tools, calculators, reports available there. John, but each week here is our constant resource for this down-to-earth information and for help and assistance in getting guidance heading in the right financial direction. We appreciate it sincerely.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure speaking with John Kuykendall. Do give him and the team at Gulf Coast Financial Services a call. Whether it's the in-depth, comprehensive, holistic review and evaluation of your plan, or just a specific question you can get answered in 5 to 10 minutes on the phone, they're there to help and assist. 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018. Thank you, John, for your time, and thank you all. Hope you have a great week ahead for Thanksgiving week. Take care.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more financial focus by visiting gulfcoastfinancial.net. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes. John Kuykendall is registered with and securities are offered through Kovac Securities Inc., member FINRA SIPC, found online at www.kovacsecurities.com. Advisory services are offered through Gulf Coast Financial Services Inc., a registered investment advisor in Florida. Gulf Coast Financial Services Inc. is not affiliated with Kovac Securities Inc. or Kovac Advisors Inc. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All investing involves risk. Investment decisions should be based on your own goals, time horizon, and tolerance for risk. Due to various factors including changing market conditions and/or applicable laws, the content may no longer be reflective of current opinions or positions.